What's happening, guys? This is Joey from Gore Whore Productions, and today I'm going to be talking about my horror autograph collection that I started in 2009 when I started going to conventions. Since then I've been to dozens of conventions. So today we're going to take a look at some of my most prized autographs. And we'll start out with the very first one I got back in 2009. It's Gunnar Hansen, the original, and in my opinion the best Leatherface that there's ever been. I only got to meet Gunnar the one time, sadly. Now, sticking with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre theme, we have Bill Moseley, Chop Top. I've met Bill probably 3 or 4 times over the years. I think the first time I met him was 2013, I want to say. And he's always been very nice to me. We usually talk about music, something like that. A lot of you guys probably know him as Otis from the Rob Zombie trilogy. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell. But I always remember him as Chop Top. I loved him when I was 6 years old. I always wanted to dress up as Chop Top for Halloween when I ever got a chance to. Maybe I will someday. Next we have Doug Bradley, Pinhead. And just like Freddy Krueger and Robert Englund kind of go hand in hand, to me, Doug Bradley will always be Pinhead no matter who plays the role. Pinhead is Doug Bradley, period, in my opinion. Next we got Ashley Lawrence, who I met one time. She looks exactly the same as she did in 1986, 87. She hasn't aged a day, I don't think. And she's also a very good artist. I was checking out some of her artwork and talking about it. And I believe that was 2014 or so. Sticking with Hellraiser, we have one of my favorites, Nicholas Vince, or Nicholas Berman Vince, the Chattering Cenobite. One of the nicest people I've ever met. He seemed as excited to see his fans as they were to see him. And I've met him probably 3 times. Now we'll go from Hellraiser to Friday the 13th, and we might as well start with Ari Lehman, the very first Jason from part 1. I've lost track of how many times I've met Ari. I had a table like 2 tables down from him a few years ago at a convention I vended at. He actually knows me by name. I've met him so many times. And sticking with Friday the 13th, we have many consider the quintessential Jason, Kane Hodder, another guy I've met 8 or 10 times at least. He's at Scarefest pretty much every year that I've been, and I've only missed 2 or 3 since it started. He choked the hell out of me one time in Cincinnati, I believe it was. Next time I saw him, he said he had to stop doing that because he's afraid of lawsuits, but when he choked me, he really freaking choked me. Here's another guy that's sadly no longer with us, Sid Haig. I met about 3 or 4 times. The last time I saw him was 2016, maybe. He was always willing to let you take pictures with him for free. He'd even give some people stuff for free. I've got 2 or 3 pictures with him over the years, and I'm sad that he's no longer with us. And from one scary clown to another, David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown. I only met him the one time. he's just now really starting to do a lot of conventions. I'm thinking I'll probably meet him again later this year, if not next year. He really seemed interested when I told him about my show that features clowns, the Clown Alley Horror Review. And I talked to him quite a bit on social media. This guy, Malcolm McDowell, a legend. Clockwork Orange, Halloween. I could go on and on and on of the movies he's done. He's pretty soft-spoken. I talked to him for a minute. I just met him the one time. I don't think he does a lot of conventions around here locally where I could go see him, but it was cool to meet a guy who, in my opinion, is a living legend. Mr. Boogie, Nick King, Sinister. He had the little mask that he wore in the movie. We posed with that. That's the only time I believe I've ever met him. He's been at a couple conventions, but I didn't get to stop by his table. I don't remember the year it was, but I remember it was Scarefest. This guy was super cool. Evil Ed. Stephen Jeffries. Who doesn't love Evil Ed? I was wearing a hat similar to this one, except it was leather. And he asked me where I got it, and he loved my hat. He doesn't do a lot of conventions either here locally, but I met him the one time, and hopefully I'll get to meet him again. Here's a guy I actually drove around one time at a convention. I was his chauffeur. Alex Vincent, aka Andy from the first Child's Play. He wanted to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken since he was in Kentucky. And unfortunately it was closed down. It was like 11 o'clock at night, so we had to go to Taco Bell instead. Here's another well-known child actor, Miko Hughes. And he's starting to do more conventions in this area, so hopefully I'll get to see him again pretty soon. Another guy that sadly passed away, but one of my favorites, from one of my favorite movies of all time, The Thing, Wilford Brimley. A lot of people know him as the diabetes guy. I knew him from The Thing and, of course, the oatmeal commercials, so I'm showing my age with that one, but I'm sad I only got to meet him the one time. I would really like to have seen him at a Thing reunion. Speaking of The Thing, here's Windows. Thomas Waits. He was also in one of my other favorite movies, The Warriors. He was the Fox in The Warriors. Now we're going to go from horror to wrestling. One of my all-time favorite wrestlers is Mick Foley, especially as Cactus Jack. He does quite a few conventions, but I've only got to meet him the one time. I'm hoping to go see one of his one-man shows where he talks about wrestling and life and all of his books and all that. And last but not least, one of my very favorite people, probably the only guy in the state of Kentucky that's more angry than I am, Jim Cornette, manager of the Midnight Express and host of one of my very favorite podcasts, the Jim Cornette Experience. I've met him probably 3 times. But that's most of the major celebrities that I've gotten autographed pictures from over the years. So until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell and all that good stuff.